Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. And this will be about your WWE news for the weekend and the pay-per-view Capital Punishment results. And here we go. Former Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli were on hand for this week's WWE television tapings in New York and Rhode Island. Both worked out in the ring in front of officials before each show. Castagnoli signed a developmental contract with WWE in November 2006, but was released shortly, while later for reasons that have yet to be publicly disclosed. Okay, WWE has released a commercial ad promoting SummerSlam, which takes place August the 14th, 2011 at the Staples Center in Los Angeles. It is branded as the biggest event of the summer. The commercial features The Miz, Chris Masters, John Morrison, Kofi Kingston, Eve Torres, Alicia Fox, and the Bella Twins emerging from the ocean and scurrying to a beach house to watch SummerSlam. And the commercial is available here on this site here. Pull it back a little bit. vids.wwe.com/12310/SummerSlam live-on pay-per-view view. Okay, Booker T has a new gym open up this week called Wrestling Exercise Fitness, short WXF. The grand opening will take place, okay, it's not this week, it's July the 8th at 9189 Winkler, Suite C in Houston, Texas. Former WWE and TNA star Low-Ki, formerly known as Kaval, and Senshi recently applied to trademark the name Senshi under his Key Elements Incorporated company. He also applied to trademark Low-Ki a few months back under his own name. Below are the updated event. The following is updated events for WWE's return to South Africa, in which, in the main event, Justin Gabriel is supposed to be debuting to face the champion in some type of either tag team or singles match. As you can see, South African native Justin Gabriel will be receiving a main event push while WWE is in his country. July 6th in Cape Town is Randy Orton versus Christian and Ezekiel Jackson versus Wade Barrett. July 7th in Cape Town, Randy Orton and Justin Gabriel versus Sheamus and Christian. Wade Barrett versus Kane. July 8th in Durban, Randy Orton versus Christian with Bret Hart as referee. He's touring with them over there in South Africa. Also, Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio, since our feud is not over from the pay-per-view. Justin Gabriel and Sin Cara versus Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes. That ought to be a pretty good match. July 9th, in Johannesburg, Randy Orton versus Christian with Bret Hart as referee. Thus, the feud with Randy Orton and Christian is not over again from the pay-per-view. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Randy Orton won the match in the main event. Well, it was one of the main events, but it was at the end of the second hour. Christian had his foot under the ropes. The referee saw it to begin with, but did not attend to it when Randy Orton overtook pinning. Go figure. Okay, next up was Big Show versus Alberto Del Rio, Justin Gabriel versus Sin Cara, and Ted DiBiase versus Cody Rhodes again. Okay, let's see. Justin Gabriel and Big Show versus Christian and Sheamus. Sheamus and Alberto Del Rio with Bret Hart as referee. Daniel Bryan versus Wade Barrett. Wow, Daniel Bryan gets a main event push too. And that, I guess, will be for the Nope, because Wade Barrett is not champion anymore. WWE talent Alex Riley has been cleared of all charges stemming from his driving under the influence charge in Tampa, but the other charges are still there. His arrest was in Florida in November 2010, and that was reported from TMZ.com. His lawyers went before a judge earlier this month and argued that police had no probable cause for a traffic stop that led to his client's arrest. The judge agreed, rendering the field sobriety tests and the officer's observations about Riley inadmissible. Riley was arrested in Tampa, Florida on November 17, 2010 at 1:14 a.m. on charges of driving under the influence. After refusing to be tested, he was released at 9:33 a.m. on a $500 bond. Riley was also charged with driving with a suspended license, and that particular one has not been resolved. MVP won his first IWGP Intercontinental title defense I believe it was Saturday night in Japan, defeating Toru Yano in a rematch from last month's tournament finals where MVP was crowned champion. Also in action at yesterday's New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion pay-per-view was former WWE star Lance Hoyt and Brian Kendrick making a surprise appearance. Skip Sheffield was spotted in Tampa, Florida this weekend on crutches and one of his legs in a cast. I would say it would be the same leg that's injured in a cast. Sheffield recently had another round of surgery and is expected to be back in action sometime this year. Okay, and now for your Raw dark match can be found at Ringside News /Carrier LP /video /6-13-11 Raw dark match Nassau Coliseum. Okay, maybe you can read it now. No glare. Alright, there you go. Okay, former WWE star Michael Tarver, who was recently released, known as Tyrone Evans, looks like he's getting into gospel music. He says he will be sharing his life and time with WWE on tracks from his upcoming album titled The Armor of God. Tarver will be performing tonight at 7 p.m. at Crossroads Church in Tampa, Florida. Well, I did this report last night. So that was last night being Sunday night. His performance will also stream on crossoverchurch.org, so you can catch it there. Apparently, Kofi Kingston's brother was one of the contestants in a dance-off at Friday night's WWE Super Show in Lowell, Massachusetts during intermission. Both Kofi and Ezekiel Jackson tweeted about it, and Kofi grew up in the area and competed on the independent scene in the area. Luke Gallows, former WWE star and new recent TNA signee, will be part of the Tornado Relief fundraiser at the Armory in Jackson, Georgia on August the 20th, 2011. Start time at 7 p.m. Tickets cost $10. Go to cpwrestling.tk for full info about that event. Johnny Curtis said on this past Friday SmackDown that he will be making his debut soon. Curtis has done two skits in the past few weeks. One about being an ace in a hole, and another about not crying over spilled milk. Bret Hart will also be the special guest referee for Randy Orton vs. Christian match at the July 23rd SmackDown event in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Bret was announced as a special referee for several SmackDown events this weekend, and will be appearing on the South Africa tour, as I just said earlier, and will be appearing for WWE and Mattel at the San Diego Comic-Con, and there will be some other WWE stars there with him. Of course, Rey Mysterio, being his hometown, San Diego, will be there. Zack Ryder wrote the following on Twitter last night regarding the pay-per-view happenings. The fans were chanting, We want Zack at the Capital Punishment pay-per-view. It happened during the Wade Barrett versus Ezekiel Jackson match. We want Ryder chance at the pay-per-view. I can't confirm it because he wasn't there to hear it himself. The former WWE diva Julia Hall wrestled her first match since being released by WWE this weekend for the Pro Wrestling Extreme promotion in Orlando, Florida. She defeated women's wrestler Santana before the match. Julia wrote on Twitter, "I'm super nervous to get back in the ring tonight. Plus I'm sick. Just made myself cry. Gotta pull it together," unquote. Well, President Obama was played by comedian Reggie Brown at last night's WWE Capital Punishment pay-per-view. Brown appeared at a GOP convention on Saturday night and had to be pulled off stage after the people organizing the event felt he went overboard with his jokes. WWE had someone tweeting as the fake Obama yesterday on Twitter at WWE President. Shane McMahon was spotted at the U.S. Open golf tournament on Sunday with the father of Rory McIlroy. Shane was also shown on camera but not mentioned by name. Thus, he was also spotted at the Masters, my hometown, Augusta, Georgia. Okay, tonight's 3-hour Raw from First Mariner Arena in Baltimore, Maryland kicks off at 8 p.m. time with a Power to the People theme. Fans will be able to vote on matches and the stipulations through WWE's website and text messaging. Advertised locally is a six-man action with John Cena, Big Show, and Rey Mysterio versus R-Truth, Alberto Del Rio, and CM Punk. So there's just a spoiler for one of your matches. And your dark match for Capital Punishment result was Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov beating Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater, formerly known as The Core. And what you've all been waiting for, June 19, 2011, Capital Punishment pay-per-view. Last night's Capital Punishment pay-per-view opens up with a nice video package for R-Truth versus John Cena main event. Then they go to the arena and we're live from Washington, D.C. United States title matches first. Dolph Ziggler versus Kofi Kingston. Out first comes the U.S. champion Kofi. To kick off the show, Vicky Guerrero escorts Dolph Ziggler to the ring next, and we're ready to go. But didn't Stone Cold, who was it? Stone Cold or the Raw GM say something on Raw that Dolph had to get rid of Vicky for him to get a match? Well, guess what? They lied. Okay, bell rings and they go at it. Lots of back and forth action to start. They eventually go to the corner. Kofi catapults Dolph out. He goes for the Trouble in Paradise, but Dolph ducks and turns it around. Dolph with a big leg drop and a 2 count. More back and forth action for a few minutes. Dolph hits a drop kick and another 2 count. Dolph applies a submission from behind. Kofi breaks out and rolls it up for a 2. More counters. Kofi with another 2 count. Dolph applies a sleeper hold, but Kofi breaks out of it. Dolph goes for a splash in the corner, but Kofi moves. Lots of back and forth action next, and Kofi with a big axe handle on the top rope for a 2 count. Kofi misses Trouble in Paradise. Dolph catches him for a powerbomb, but Kofi hits the SOS. Dolph kicks out at 2. More pin attempts from both men. Dolph goes for the zigzag, but misses. Kofi with a big leap and another 2 count. Kofi goes up top, but Dolph beats him and knocks him down. Dolph climbs up top and goes for a superplex, but Kofi drops him on his face. Kofi with a high crossbody and another 2 count. Dolph blocks SOS again, and Dolph applies a sleeper. Kofi blocks it and slams. Dolph blocks it and slams Kofi in the corner. Kofi misses Trouble in Paradise again. Dolph misses a zigzag and distracts the referee. Vicky interferes and attacks Kofi. Dolph takes advantage and puts the sleeper hold on tight on the mat. Kofi passes out while the sleeper is on to end the match after Dolph used the bottom rope for the extra leverage cheating winner and new United States champion, Dolph Ziggler. Limousine pulls up backstage and outsteps R-Truth with the WWE title. He says the champion is in the house. Truth says he's got a party to go to. He runs into Eve Torres and invites her. She says she doesn't even know who he is anymore. He says she's right. She doesn't know. He says nobody knows who he is anymore. Truth goes on to Eve before walking off. We see the Miz backstage with Todd Grisham. Grisham says the critics are asking if he has what it takes to beat Alex Riley. Miz says, really? Is this how far his career has sunk into the last month? Miz says he is a former WWE champion and is sick of hearing about Alex Riley. Miz says Riley was only good for carrying his briefcase. Miz puts Riley down some more and says he can go back to being someone's bag carrier after tonight. Miz says he's going to show the world tonight the fine line between luck and awesome. Well, it didn't happen. I get a video package showing the highlights for the Miz and Alex Riley, and the match is up next. Go to the ring. Out first comes Miz. Alex Riley is introduced from Washington, D.C. when he trained here in Louisiana and Texas with HBK. But he did go to Boston College, so I guess that's why he's hailing from Washington, D.C. now. He's out to a nice reaction from the crowd. Miz says Miz has his briefcase with him tonight. Miz taunts Riley before the match with the briefcase. Riley attacks and bell rings. Riley takes it to the corner, but Miz fights out and rolls to the floor. Riley chases Miz around the ring, but gets taken down when they re-enter. Miz works Riley over with rights, kicks and a high knee. Miz with a running kick to the face. Miz stomps away now, but takes a tuck. Riley gets up and fires back. Miz kicks him to the mat. Hits a big DDT for a 2 count. Miz with knees to Riley's back now. Miz with another running kick to the face. Miz continues to the offense and knocks Riley down when he tries to get up. Riley rams Miz back into the corner and he gets sent to the floor. Miz comes outside and hits Riley with another kick to the head. Another kick to the face. Miz brings it back in the ring, but keeps Riley on the apron and punches him. Talking crap and trash now. Miz with a running knee to the face. Miz rolls up Riley over for a 2 count. Riley tries to make a comeback again, but Miz stops it. Miz applies a sleeper hold and takes Riley down to the mat with it. More offense for the Miz. Another DDT and a 2 count. Miz with a big clothesline in the corner now. Miz climbs to the top and comes down with a double axe handle for a 2 count. Miz takes Riley to the corner and then ties him up for no tree of woe. Miz stomps away at Riley as he's hung upside down in the corner. Miz goes for a baseball slide into Riley's face, but Riley pulls himself free and Miz hits ring post. Riley with an elbow and a spear now. Riley with several right hands before taking Miz to the corners. Riley throws Miz into the ring post and hits a big spine buster for a 2 count. Miz tosses Riley to the floor. Riley comes back in with a big right hand and another 2 count. Miz rolls to the floor and Riley follows him. Riley slams Miz into the fan barrier, the ring apron, and then the announcer's table. Michael Cole runs his mouth to Riley and eventually distracts him. Well, shouldn't put your hand on Riley, where Riley grabs Cole by his tie and pulls him over the announcer's table and to the floor. Miz runs over and kicks Riley in the gut and throws him back in the ring. Miz brings the briefcase in the ring, but the referee stops him from using it. Riley takes advantage and drops Miz with a big DDT for the pin and the win. And we go backstage to the fake Barack Obama and his Secret Service. Sergeant Slaughter walks up and Obama cracks a joke on Obamacare. Vicky Guerrero walks up and says she's so happy that Dolph is the new U.S. champion that she wants to sing. Well, at this time, Sergeant Slaughter's saluting the president and what have you. And nobody cares for Vicky to sing. If she says oink, 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 well, there you go. She did tell him Happy Father's Day, or singing Happy Father's Day to the fake Obama, and blows him a kiss. Trying to be Marilyn Monroe, that she's not. Obama has the Secret Service carry Vicky off as she's still singing. So the soldier thanks Obama, shakes his hand as they cut to the back, and they show a video with highlights from Alberto Del Rio and Big Show feud. Alberto Del Rio versus Big Show. This was a crappy match for me. They played it with Big Show, still injured, and what have you. Well, they go to the arena, and in comes Alberto Del Rio driving his Mercedes-Benz. They're saying it's worth $220,000. As Alberto Del Rio is making his way to the ring. No Ricardo Rodriguez. Since his injury from Big Show and what have you. Well, Big Show attacks him from behind and starts beating on him. Show brings Del Rio in the ring. Del Rio rolls back out. Show with big chops on the floor. The bell still has a ring yet. And Show throws Del Rio hard into the barrier. Show brings Del Rio back to the announcer's table. Mike Henry interferes, tries to pick up Show, and hits the world's strongest slam through the announcer's table. Well, all he did is get him up to here. Boom! Falls with him. Not much there. Henry beats Show down now and throws him over to the announcer's table with basically just throws him over. That's whenever Henry managed to pick up Show and hit the world's strongest slam through the announcer's table. Del Rio is in the ring demanding that the referee start the match now. Henry storms back over and slams Show's injured knee hard into the table. Show rolls around in pain, and as the referee checks on him, the referee enters the ring and talks with Del Rio as we go to replays of what just happened to Show outside the ring. Big Show starts to get up, the referee starts to count, but the bell still never rang. Big Show rolls into the corner at the 8 count, but no. He is down on one knee. Show finally is up and is ready to fight. Bell rings, and here we go. Del Rio attacks the Show and throws him in the corner. Show with huge chops. Show grabs Del Rio for a choke slam. Del Rio fights out. Kicks Show's leg. Del Rio with more kicks and offense until he gets set to the floor himself. Del Rio drops Show's neck over the ropes and goes for the top rope. Del Rio leaps off, but Show grabs him for a choke slam. Del Rio fights out and goes for the arm breaker, but Show hits him with a huge backdrop. Show walk towards Del Rio now. As Del Rio begs him to back off, Del Rio kicks Show's leg from under him and applies a submission hold on the leg. Similar to Kurt Angle's ankle lock. The hold is finally broken while Show is being hurt. The referee asks him if he can continue. Show keeps trying to stand, but he can't. The referee calls for the bell, but he never gave up. And it is announced that Del Rio won because he cannot, not able to compete. And several referees had to help him to the back. They stopped about halfway up the ramp, and that's about it. After the match, Del Rio celebrated as Show lays in pain, and we go to replays. Del Rio continues his celebration as the trainers help Big Show to walk to the back, and it was not the trainers, the referees. Goes to tell you who the internet, the reporters doing it with. Another backstage segment with R-Truth. He's telling a photographer to go ahead and do the photos now because he will be tired after tonight's title match. And that's when the feed broke out, and I had to go to another site, and their site went down. So that's why I'm doing most of these internet reports. Josh Matthews was backstage with WWE Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett. Barrett takes the mic and says he will handle this. Barrett starts walking to the ring, but from backstage, and it's talking about about being our nation's capital, and we need a queen. There it brings up the recent Wiener scandal, the U.S. education system, and the national debt. Barrett says in 20 years, everyone in this building will be speaking Chinese. Barrett says America looks good from the outside, but when you get closer, you see it's nothing but a hollow shell. Much like Ezekiel Jackson, he says. Barrett calls him pathetic. Barrett goes on, and before we finally get the belt. Intercontinental title match, Ezekiel versus Wade Barrett. Barrett is formally introduced and gets booed, of course. Ezekiel Jackson's music hits, and out comes the challenger. Bell rings, and they lock up to USA chants. They go at it and break. Barrett comes back with a right hand. Zeke goes for the torture rack, but Barrett slides out and goes to the floor. Barrett comes back in and misses the clothesline. Zeke goes to work on him with rights in the corner and beats him down. Barrett dodges a splash in the corner, but Zeke knocks him to the mat away for a 2 count. Barrett with a big kick in the corner and a pin attempt. Gets a 1 count. Zeke tries to fight back, but Barrett catches him with a big side slap for a 2 count. Barrett with a headlock now. Zeke fights out with elbows, but Zeke stops him with a knee. Then we get the We Want Ryder chant breaks out in the crowd. Barrett tries to roll up Zeke and finally gets him down for a 2 count. Zeke runs into a big back kick from Barrett. Barrett with a pump handle slam and another 2 count. Barrett with a bunch of kicks in the corner now in right hands. Barrett runs into an elbow from Zeke. Zeke comes back with a clothesline and splashes, knocking Barrett down. Zeke with a big running splash in the corner. Barrett misses a splash in the corner now. Zeke fights back and goes for a series of body slams, but Barrett counters. Barrett hits Zeke with a waist slam, but Zeke kicks out of 2. Barrett tries a running kick, but Zeke catches him. Zeke starts hitting a series of body slams, and puts Barrett into the torture rack. Barrett taps out, and Zeke wins the championship. After Zeke celebrates his victory, Jerry Lawler comes in to ask him how it feels to win the U.S. Championship. Zeke says it's awesome and the greatest accomplishment of his life. Zeke then talks about domination and continues the celebration. Then they cut to backstage with Santino Marella, Beth Phoenix, and Kelly running into the fake Obama and his posse. Santino asks Obama if he wants to see how the Cobra is done. Santino shows him the motions, and when he finishes, the Secret Service tackle him and rush Obama off to safety. Josh Matthews backstage with CM Punk now. Punk talks about how bad Washington D.C. is. He says any performer on sports entertainer, as he mocks the term, who says they are a hero is lying to you. Punk says he, like Rey Mysterio and everyone else, just wants to get rich. Punk says after he beats Mysterio tonight in Washington, D.C., he's going to do the most honest thing in WWE Universe has ever seen. And that matches up next. We go to the ring. Out first goes Ray. To a nice reaction from the crowd. Out next is Punk, who stares Mysterio down the whole way to the ring. Bell rings and they go at it with some taunting from Punk. Lots of back and forth action. Punk keeps an offense going and gets a pair of 2 counts. Punk with a back kick before working on Ray's arm. Ray fights out, but Punk takes him down for a 2 count. Ray drop kicks Punk into the position for the 619. Punk drops off the ropes and Ray kicks him to the floor instead of the 619. Ray leaps onto Punk. Punk's shoulders onto the floor, but Punk drops Ray's face onto the floor, onto the fan barrier. Punk brings Ray back in the corner for a 2 count. Punk goes back to stomping on Ray and keeping the offense going. Puts Ray in a surfboard maneuver and tries to make him tap. Ray turns it over and drops down on Punk. Before Ray can get some offense, and Punk stomps on Ray Goes back to work on it for a 2 count. Punk with a body scissors now. Punk hits a tilt-a-whirl slam on Ray and goes back to the scissors. Ray fights out finally and drops Punk for a 619 again. Ray then goes for it, and Punk takes him out. Takes him with a counter for a 2 count. Punk applies the abdominal stretch, but now, until Ray fights out, Punk charges in the corner, but Ray drops him face first into the turnbuckle. Ray goes up top, but Punk knocks him down, and he gets hung upside down in the corner. Punk takes advantage and kicks Ray in the face. Punk with 2 headbutts to the gut. Ray comes off the ropes and kicks Punk in the face and sends him flying to the floor. Punk with a moonsault from the apron to the floor. Let's see, Ray with a moonsault from the apron to the floor, and both competitors are down. Ray brings him back in the ring and goes to the top. Ray with diving headbutt for a 2 count. More back and forth action. They trade kicks and kick attempts. Ray kicks Punk in the head and he goes down for a 2 count. They go back to the top. Punk brings Ray to the mat with a big back body drop. Punk with a 2 count. Punk with a big running knee in the corner. Punk charges again, but Ray moves and he hits the ring post. More back and forth action with a 619. Ray goes to the top for the big splash, but Punk puts his knees up. Punk first fires away with the knees to the head on Ray. Punk goes for the GTS and holds it a minute while smiling. Ray blocks the GTS and takes Punk down with a Hurricane Rana for a 2 count. Punk connects and drops Ray with a big kick. This time gets another 2 count. Punk goes for the GTS again, but Ray counters again and puts him into the position for the 619. Punk blocks the 619 again and catches Ray on his shoulders. Punk nails the GTS for the pin and the win. After the match, Punk heads to the back and doesn't do the honest thing he was talking about earlier. Well, actually, that was the honest thing because he didn't beat him up some more. We get a video package for tonight's World Heavyweight title match. We go to the ring. Out first comes World Heavyweight Champion Randy Orton to a nice reaction from the crowd. This match will end right at the going into the 3rd hour. Christian is out next, playing the heel. We get formal introductions from Tony Chimmel, and we're ready to go. Bell rings, and they go right at it. Orton gets Christian down and starts stomping. Christian turns things around and knocks Orton down to one knee with rights. Orton misses a clothesline, but hits a Thesz press and unloads with the right hands. Orton with a headlock now. Orton with a shoulder block, and now a 2 count. Orton goes back to the headlock, keeping it in control. They run the ropes, and Orton with a shoulder tackle and another 2 count. Christian fights out of another headlock and goes to the second rope. Christian goes for an elbow, but elbow from the second rope, but Orton dodged it. Christian tosses Orton through the ropes into the floor. Christian runs and drop kicks Orton through the ropes with a baseball slide, and down he goes. Christian goes for the cross body over the top rope, but Orton moves and he hits the floor. Orton hit with a clothesline on the floor before bringing him back to the ring for a 2 count. Orton fires away on Christian before sending him back outside. Orton follows and works him over. Orton goes for a DDT off the steel steps, but Christian counters, sends Orton head first into the steps. Christian rolls Orton back into the ring for a 2 count. Christian stomps on Orton and stands on him in the corner. Christian with a reverse neck breaker for a 2 count. Orton comes back with a 2 count of his own until Christian comes right back and drops Orton on his head with a spine buster for a 2. Announcers play up Orton's recent concussion. Orton counters Christian and whips him hard into the corner. Orton with a big back drop and repeated forearm shots to the chest. Christian counters and goes for an inverted DDT. Orton counters and comes back with a clothesline and a scoop slam. Orton with an uppercut into the corner and a belly-to-belly suplex for a 2 count. Orton tries for the second rope DDT, but Christian hits him with the right hand. They go back and forth by the apron. Before going to the top rope, Orton hits the superplex on Christian, but only gets a 2 count. More offense by Orton. Christian grabs him for the kill switch, but Orton blocks it. Orton goes for the RKO, but it's blocked. They leave the ring and come back in. Christian goes for the second rope, but Orton pulls him down. Orton hits Christian with a second rope DDT. Orton hits the mat and gets ready to strike. Orton goes for the RKO, but Christian counters with an inverted DDT for 2 count. Christian readies for the spear. Orton leaps over him and goes for the RKO, but Christian blocks it. Christian nails the spear this time, but only gets a 2 count. Christian with a drop kick. Orton charges in the corner, but Christian kicks him in the corner, kicks him in the head. Christian comes off the top rope, but Orton goes under him. Christian walks into an RKO as a distraction from the ref and walked into the RKO. Pin and win. But his foot was under the ropes. When he fell down from the RKO, his foot slid under the ring ropes completely to the outside, to the edge, and then it brought his foot back in, but it was still under the ropes when Orton goes for the pin. The referee saw it and turned around and said he didn't see it. Like I said, well, after the match, Orton celebrates as Christian argues with the referee about the pin being good. It wasn't good. Christian said he had his foot under the ropes. Orton walks over and lays Christian out with a belt shot to the head. Orton goes back to the corner to pose for the fans. Well, what I saw was Christian was complaining about his foot being on the ropes. I agree with it because his foot was under the ropes. Should not have even been a 1 count at all. And just as Orton was at the corner, he was just like after the bell and what have you, just shaking his head, shaking his head, back and forth, back and forth. Then finally grabs his belt from outside, cracks him with a hit. Then they go to a promo video for tonight's WWE title match. What next is Evan Bourne versus Jack Swagger. Boring match, as I had to take my shower and go to work. They go to the ring. Out comes Jack Swagger for a bonus match that wasn't announced before. Out next comes his opponent, Evan Bourne. They lock up and go at it. Another chant for Zack Ryder breaks out. Swagger slams Bourne back to the mat and keeps control. Swagger keeps Bourne on the mat. Swagger keeps in control until Bourne takes him down with a head scissors. Bourne tries to mount an offense, but Swagger stops in and slams him on the shoulders for a 2 count. Swagger drops elbows into Bourne's ribs and covers for another 2 count. Swagger with a chin lock and a knee in Bourne's back. Still keeping in control, we see Keystone and the Bellas sitting at ringside. Swagger does a push-up over Bourne and poses. Swagger with a backdrop and another 2 count. Swagger takes Bourne to the corner and nails him with a forearm shots to the back now. Swagger whips Bourne hard into the corner and he goes down. Swagger hits a big Vader splash from the second rope, but only gets 2 count. Swagger puts a boot to Bourne's chest and continues the beat down. Bourne starts to make a comeback, but Swagger stops him. Swagger misses the second rope and splash, and Bourne comes back again. Bourne goes up top and has to come back down. Swagger hits a big boot to the face out of nowhere, but can't get the pin. Bourne ends up on the top rope, and they go at it before coming down. Bourne hits a big DDT for 2 count. Bourne with 2 big kicks to the head. Bourne gets up top for the airborne, but Swagger moves. Bourne lands on his feet. Swagger goes for the gut wrench powerbomb, but Bourne slides out. Bourne goes for the roll up, but Swagger goes for the ankle lock. Bourne counters with another roll up for the win. I guess it's called the schoolboy roll up. Winner of the match, Evan Bourne. We go to the stage, and the fake Obama comes out to a podium. He tells us thank you about 20 times, and he says he has some great WWE memories. Obama says every Monday night, when he tells people he's working on the budget, He's up in his office watching Raw. He says if he were Raw general manager, he would see a lot more Jim Ross and less Michael Cole. Obama wishes good luck to John Cena, and the child boos. He wishes good luck to R-Truth, and that seemed to get a better reaction. He goes on and thanks everyone again before walking off. Booker T speaks up and stops Obama from leaving. Booker invites Obama down to the ring. Booker says it's a pleasure to meet Obama and talks about him making history by being the first black president and winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Booker asks him if he can do the spin-a-roni, however. Booker's music hits and he shows the fake Obama how it's done. Booker asks us if we want to see the Barack-a-Rooney. Music hits and Obama starts dancing before hitting a weak-a-rooney to end the segment. Another promo video for tonight's pay-per-view. WWE title match is up next. We go to the ring and out first comes R-Truth. Still in possession of the WWE title belt, John Cena's music hit is on next, and here's his entrance. We get formal ring introductions before the bell. Bell rings and they finally lock up. Truth takes Cena down first as the crowd does dueling chants. They square up again and they go to lock up. Truth throws a kick, but Cena grabs his leg and throws him back to the mat. Truth rolls to the floor and starts talking to himself. Truth comes back in and it hits Cena in the face. Taking it to a corner and working him over, they go back. Lost my spot. And they go back and forth, but Truth rolls back out onto the floor when Cena starts to get on a roll. Truth comes in and Cena goes for the attitude adjustment. Truth blocks it, suplexes Cena on his face. Truth takes it to the corner and works Cena over, but Cena comes back out fighting. Truth with a side kick to the face for a 2 count. Truth with more offense and another 2 count. Truth with a chin lock now. Cena fights back to his feet and out of the hole. Cena whips Truth into the ropes, but Truth comes back with a corkscrew elbow. Good for a 2 count. Used to be his Truth Consequences move. Or whatever it's called. But okay, Truth mocks Cena and continues the assault. Truth fights Cena on the apron. Cena drops him over the ropes. Comes back in the ring, but runs into a clothesline. Truth with a 2 count. Truth takes Cena to the mat and puts on the body scissors. More dueling chants from the crowd. Cena rolls out of it. It goes to an STF, but Truth makes it to the ropes. Truth gets up and drops Cena with a clothesline for a 2 count. Truth with a superplex. And yet another 2 count. Cena starts to make his comeback. Hits the usual moves, followed by the 5-knuckle shuffle. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment, but Truth counters it and drops Cena, but can't get the pin. Truth misses a big forearm in the corner, and Cena counters with a toe hold. Cena locks the STF, but Truth makes it to the ropes and breaks the hold. Truth comes back and hits a scissor kick, but still can't get the win. Truth goes up top and comes down with a crossbody, but Cena rolls through and stands up with Truth. Truth slides out again and lays Cena out. Cena still manages to kick out at 2 and roll out to the floor to regroup. Truth goes to ringside and starts drinking a Cena fan's drink. The fan throws a drink in Truth's face. Instead, Cena takes advantage this time, bringing Truth back in the ring. Hits the attitude adjustment for the win. Winner, John Cena. Well, after the match, John Cena goes to ringside and picks the fan up, brings him in the ring. Cena raises the WWE title and the little boy's hand before giving him a thumbs up. Oh! And helping him back out of the ring, back to his seat. Cena goes to ringside and poses with some of the troops that are there, and Capital Punishment goes off the air with Cena saluting the camera. That ends your pay-per-view. Peace out later tonight for Raw results.